Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the best build for Kuzenbo. That's right, this is my favorite build for Kuzenbo right now. Welcome also to Rayday Gaming. My name is Rayday, and I'm excited for another episode. Taking a look at the brand new Guardian. I want to talk to you about his kit, what he does, let everyone know kind of just, the basic rundown of Kuzenbo. I've been playing him over the last couple of days, and I'm excited to bring this video because I think I may have figured out a decent approach here, and definitely from the casual, from the arena, from the clash, and this could translate into Conquest. I haven't tried it out there. What's new, right? Rayday hasn't tried this build out in Conquest. Wow. What's new? But the truth is, if you are playing, a casual level, you love your siege, you love your assault, you love your arena, you love your clash, this build should be very effective for you. And it's a different approach to playing Kuzenbo in the way you might a traditional Guardian. Now, there's a lot of differences between Kuzenbo and traditional Guardians, in my opinion, and I think that's maybe where we look at what Kuzenbo brings to the table. What his balance options are. Should he be changed? Should he stay the same and people just use him differently or understand how he works differently? There's the blink into the actual dash. I get 2 pits of damage there, which is good. And move away the Aphrodite. There's a lot happening right now. Bacchus, though, he might have gotten himself in trouble. He does jump. He doesn't have much to do. And we end up getting the first kill onto Nicholas SO2. The questions I raised about Kuzenbo: do you balance him? How do you balance him? Do you change him? Do you change your play style? What does he bring to the table? This is very important for me when looking at this. And I'm gonna say that let's just say we don't change him. Let's just say we don't add a knock up to his, excuse me, I'm burping all over the place. You don't have a knock up to his number one. We don't do something of that nature where we dramatically change the champion and the god and the way he functions and works. But what we do is say, I'm going to change my approach to the style of play, and I'm going to look at it that way. So for me, great ult by Guan Yu picks up another kill, so we're 2-1 in the leaderboard. He's trying to get away. Bad jump by Bacchus. Jingwei coming in as well. Just going to use my ult to space her away. She's taking a lot of damage. She doesn't even want to stay there. There's the Nene Kappa, and we get the kill. So an over-aggressive Jingwei gives us a kill. I mean, I did what I needed to do. That's the strength of Kuzenbo. He's very good at zoning. He's very good at following up on a little bit of damage from that single target. He's dislocating. He's disrupting. I love that aspect of Kuzenbo, and I think he has a lot of talent in that regard. But you got to build your team comp right. So let's look at how Kuzenbo needs to be used. Okay, before we get into the skills and the abilities, we'll get into that throughout the game. I'll tell you what they do. I personally think that the way he needs to be used is as maybe like a secondary tank. More so because he doesn't have strong initiation like a typical Guardian. And he also, I think, has very, I would say, horizontal and horizontally more valuable initiation, and when he's behind a target, more valuable initiation than when he's right in front of targets. For instance, if I'm a mirror, I'm in the situation, I'm walking up, I'm threatening the freeze, people are backing up, I could put a wall, I could trap Aphrodite in a bad spot. All these things are happening. I have all that kind of pressure. Same with Jing Chan. I could dash forward, I could basically just dash up and basically knock up and root. There's a lot of things that when I'm facing you, I could push you away, I could CC you, I could control frontal space. With Kuzenbo, the only thing that he has to control frontal space is really his one, and it's just the damaging attack. The Kappa comes out, he adds maybe, he adds good damage. He adds a lot of pressure. I do like that for backline targets. It's annoying to deal with. But he doesn't add that same type of space. Now, when I'm behind someone, though, I could push them into my defenses. I can push them into my team, and that is extremely valuable. Jingwei uses her escape, but she doesn't realize I've got my number 2 on her, and she is in trouble at this point. I've got my ultimate as well. I'm going to go into it, trying to find the kill. Got to see if I can get Jing. I need my 1, though. Almost gonna get her. There's the 3. Push her in the wall. I don't hit the wall, but I throw the 1, and that gets it. I realize now if I back at this point, I have to, I'm going to get hit by these minions, but we have enough pressure on this map that no one seems to be coming to chase me. And here's Aphrodite. She's just going to heal me up. That was perfect. I misplayed that one. I probably should have gone for the 1 first rather than the wall. Trying to stun her into the wall, I get the damage, which was kind of unfortunate there. And it's almost time to talk about how Kuzenbo works, but I just wanted to make that interesting point. I think that's why he's a bit different than a lot of Guardians you'll see. Look at Bacchus as well. Anywhere he is, right? He's got the burp in front of him. He's got the jump that can go basically in front of him and threaten the space forward. There's just a lot of things that these gods do in terms of the Guardian role that Kuzenbo does a little differently. Now, when the fight is horizontal with me or I'm behind the team, I'm a lot more effective. And I think that is just understanding that in general will help your playstyle with Kuzenbo. But it also means you have to have a good team comp that's going to give you the frontal pressure as well. Otherwise, Kuzenbo is just going to sit there and be like, I can't attack, guys. I've just got this dash. I can't just dash into everyone. That's my only escape. And so there, I like to grab Blink as well. We're trying to dislocate Bacchus out of the fight. He cannot zone. There goes Guan Yu. Bacchus all the way in the left corner, trying to just find himself now. And he does finally get the damage off to Guan Yu, who's found a lot of kills in this game. So far, they haven't really been able to stop what he's been able to do for their squad. Neath with a great stun and Root and just really getting the damage off on the left side. So we're doing well. I'm just finishing up these minions and again having a bit of a tough time doing so. Let's talk about his skills really quickly now that you know my first initial thoughts of kind of how you have to play him differently. Let's talk about his skills. His passive is basically damage reduction. It's 10% damage reduction. What happens is when he takes damage, you get these stacks. More than 2% of your actual health, total health, you get these stacks. And if he has 1,500 health, I mean, I don't know, 10% of that is 150. So divide that by 2, and that's, 5% of that is, what, 75? No, it's 89? It's 85. Something of that nature. 80. 45. No. 80, 75. Yeah, it is 75. Okay, I was right. Sorry. 75, my math is just like, man, I'm trying to do a lot of things right now. I'm not trying to get into a math contest. Okay, 75 is what it's at. And then, half of that is really where you're around 2%. So you're going to get these stacks pretty decently as you get into the game. And of course, as damage scales later in the game, so will your health. So hopefully those stacks will be just as simple. So it's not that hard to get the stacks. What it is, though, is it's decently hard to keep them, especially with a lot of champions who have knockups. A lot of gods that, like Hercules, I've seen him be pretty strong. A lot of people have used him lately. There's a lot of knockups around. Bacchus has a knockup here when you knock back, when you get, I believe, grabbed. So I believe that would be even Kepri, yeah, pulled or banished. So Freya as well is very, very strong. Pretty much counters this passive from Kuzenbo. I'm going in the back line here, just wanting to make sure my blink is ready. Seeing if I can get away from the damage. But no, it doesn't seem like that's going to happen yet. Want to hit the Nene Kappa? We do. Bank it off the wall. Aphrodite tries to get rid of it. She used the whole burst of her 2 onto the Nene Kappa, and he actually stayed alive, which is pretty impressive. And you can see he's not the easiest guy to get rid of, so he's a fun one. He's a fun one, definitely, especially the Hu Yi bank shots are really enjoyable as well. I want to get the Jingwei and make sure she goes down. There's the Nene Kappa onto her. I have my 2 available. I don't have anything else. Want to use the Thorns, but it's not going to work. I actually end up getting the kill, though. Somehow it works. It just seems like the death went down, and I got what I came for. So it's 3-0. And we are dominating this game. So far, so good. Really, really good for this game with us. And again, when you're up in people's face, when you throw your 2, they don't want to attack you. And there's a good reason for that. They're going to take damage back. Since we're talking about the 2, let's go into it. You see what the Nene Kappa does. Basically just damage. That's the one. You can bounce it off like Hu Yi. He comes out at the very end. 210 damage, 55% of your magical power. But the 2, Shell Spikes, is a very interesting mechanic. He's essentially got thorns. If you're familiar with that item, it basically means that anyone that hits you while that is active is going to take up to, starting at 20 and up to 40% of the damage they do to you. So 40% of a Spirit of the 9 Winds with Kukulkan, ouch. 40% of a Scylla ultimate, yikes. Now, you may not be able to survive it, but she may not be able to survive it either if that is active. So it's definitely going to be a great form of passive-aggressive pressure. People aren't going to want to attack you, and they're going to give you space, especially with autos and abilities. And where you're standing, you kind of create a safe zone for your enemies too, because if they know you're standing in a Scylla Crush as well as the player who they want to kill, they may, if at low health, decide not to, knowing it will kill them as well. And so you may be able to save. I've staved off a lot of things just by basically body blocking, but then putting myself in front of the shots and activating my number 2. Shell Spikes definitely provide some value. It's different. It's interesting though, and again, it's kind of passive aggressive, not like a traditional aggressive Guardian things. There's some damage on Aphrodite though, running her into her own minions. I believe that is how the dash can work as well. You can run gods into their own minions instead of other players. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, then that means I haven't discussed the dash. Going into the ultimate, though, we get the kill immediately, and we push Naja back, force him into the ult, because that was just a bad spot for him. Now we push him into the wall, and he's just getting CC'd there. Naja has effectively been out of this fight for a very long time. There's Thorns, though. Naja just kind of still waiting, but there's the Nene Kappa. More damage than he thinks, and look, 59. 50. That's 150 extra damage, probably 200 damage that just did on top of the 200 that I did originally to him with the Nene Kappa. So definitely for the squishies, it provides some backline pressure. They have to deal with it. They can't just let, you know, 60 damage go onto them for 4 seconds, unmitigated, untreated, essentially. There's the blink. There's the dash. Naja, you're not getting out of this fight. There's the Nene Kappa as well, trying to body block as best I can. I cannot get out of this one, though. Bacchus is still here. I used the horrific emblem, looking to slow him as well. Great ult by Neath, and I think he's used his jump, so he should not be able to get away out of this one. It's so close. The jump there comes through. I've got Thorns, I've got Shell Spike, and I'm just going to push the Morgan in a bad spot. Miss the Nene Kappa. And they are still going in, but look at this Aphrodite on both teams, keeping the sustain. And Bacchus, what the heck are you doing? I cannot believe. Oh my god, it's Morgan. Okay, I was gonna say, oh, nice feint, nice juke, but she has to have gone to the tower, right? It had to have been. We're looking to find the Morgan here. I want the bank shot. I need it. Going for the Morgan. Go, go, get her, get her, get that. Come on now. Oh no, I didn't get the kill, but those bank shots are so fun and so rewarding when you actually do get them. This fight is literally not stopping. I'm gonna have to stop talking about this because it's just going on. Enjoy watching. I'm not gonna talk about this fight anymore. It is just never ending. Okay, so you clearly see the disruption that is possible in this champion. And you look at the shell spikes, very valuable. People don't want to shoot me. Jingwei, stop shooting me. She shot me once, doesn't want to do it anymore. That's damage onto the Naja. Should be a kill, and that is because we threw him under the tower, which is very, very common with the number 3, the Sumo Slam. So essentially, Kuzenbo is kind of like a Sumo type god, right? He's got a lot of displacement, he's got a lot of movement. When that really comes into value, in my opinion, is when you're fighting near your objectives. Being able to do that to somebody, making them take 2 tower shots, I mean, that's an incredible advantage to you. Fighting under your tower is where you want to be. They're going to use their escapes, they're going to be basically using their escape and still have the whole lane to traverse. So I love that bait, and I really like Blink on him as well. But the thing is with Sumo Slam, like I said, it's not a lot of frontal pressure. You can't walk up to someone and threaten them with a Sumo Slam. Otherwise, what, you're pushing them into their tower and you're going to take tower shots? I mean, that's not the way to go. I'm sorry, but that ain't a viable strategy almost anywhere. There's really not a lot of times you're going to frontally use this and get a lot of value from my experience. And somebody else may say, oh no, I really like doing it this way. And I'm really open to being wrong on this, but it just feels like this is something you want to use when you're in the jungle, when you're catching someone from the side and being able to kind of rotate and push them back, when you're behind them after using Blink and want to push them into your teammates, or when they're threatening you, you want to push one into your tower and just put them under a lot of pressure, kind of end the threat that's been happening there. It does 185 damage, and the interesting thing is that it will do potentially 3 moments of damage. So that 185 plus 35% of your magical power could turn into, you know, close to 600, right? A little bit off, maybe 45 off, so maybe like 555 or something like that. But it won't actually do 600. Here's a great ult though, just spacing out the Naja, and good damage on it as well. He's just got nothing he can do. It is very, very displacing, I will say that. Activate the shell spikes anticipatorily, and here is the Morgan looking for the stun, but I'm gonna actually just push her into the wall and really use the Nene Kappa to just finish her off. I found that the 3-1 combo does damage, and if you have a more of like a mage or a hunter or assassin that you're dealing damage to, that could be a nice little finisher, put them under significant pressure, and then they got to deal with you and the Nene Kappa. It's nice to have friends on the battlefield, so I definitely agree with that. And that kind of a style. Also, it silences. If you didn't know that, the dash, it silences enemies for the duration that they're pushed. So very much like a Kepri pull, they can't be using their abilities. They would have to, I believe, use beads to get out of it in order to then use their abilities. And that is very valuable. It's very, very valuable to know. They're basically stuck in that thing unless they use a relic. So very, very cool. And again, hits for 185 and 35% of your magic power. You can also do damage against walls. That will kind of end it. You won't go past the wall. You won't hit 2 walls and still do damage. So ideally, if you push them into their own minions and then into a wall, or into 2 of their enemy players and then into a wall, not only will they take damage, but so will the players you push them into take a little bit of damage. Again, it's 185 plus 35% of your magical power. Not the most game-changing. It's nowhere near, right? That Morgan came out of nowhere, man. I'm gonna have to Sumo Slam to get out of here. So, you know, and I think that's part of the thing too. The dash, you know, when you look at it, could be used as a you know, as a dash to get away. Something that Amir doesn't have. He's got other tools. And I think that's what's different, right? He's a little bit more mobile. He has a little bit more stuff. Prometheus, what's up, man? I saw this during the game, but I was a little focused on playing. But what's up, dude? Good to see you. Hope you're still watching the videos, man. Shout out to Prime, one of the first officers and guys I was hanging and playing with in my clan, Raynstorm, man. It's been a lot of fun. I've been able to log on a little bit more with people in the clan. Look at that triple bounce on accident. The most OP accidental triple bounce, and I want to get the kill, but Bacchus jumps away, so my ult is for naught. And, however, though, this Jingwei, she could catch these hands right here. The Sumo slam coming out for you, baby. I'm trying. I got the blink. We're going to blink her back into knee, throw her into the... Actually, she beads before she hits the wall, so that's some damage that she avoids, and that could have been the difference. That could have been all the difference there. Going for the bounce, though, the Nene Kappa will aggress onto her. And, again, 48. That's it. She just let 48 teal. So, you know, you're gonna get an extra 50 damage, probably almost guaranteed, before they can kill this guy, which is nice. But this is just aggressive. Look at this. She is just getting wrecked, dude. She shot me and got killed thanks to the shell spikes. I had more than my damage mitigation happening, almost 10% damage mitigation. But that was also really good by my team to come over and deal with that. She just got healed up by Aphrodite and got, you know, she got the hand. She was feeling way too confident out here. Don't sleep on SMITE Kuzenbo right now, okay? It's something to behold. All right, guys? I know what I'm doing here. I'm just kidding. Kuzenbo's been really fun, though. I've enjoyed it. The ultimate, as you all have seen, Watery Grave. This is interesting. I think this is actually really powerful. I was talking with Aggro, Hires Aggro, one of the casters, and we were gonna chatting about Kuzenbo. Where do you see him fitting? What's the kind of like place of him? Look at this health, though. By the way, oh my God, Naja was trying to get me. And he was saying, you know, I'm not really sure where. Maybe a knock up on the one, maybe something on the one is slow, more guardian like. And again, we're not looking at that this episode. We're really just looking at what does he do. And I'm thinking that ult is actually, as well as aggro, thinking that it's very strong. Like, I think this ult has a lot of capabilities that disrupt a team fight, that protect your allies. I think 4 knockups, I mean, to anyone, is so disruptive that, you know, you absolutely force relics, or you absolutely just dominate them. I mean, they can't do anything for that whole time period, and they're taking damage, and they're getting CC'd. I mean, they can't run away, they can't attack, they're just easy fodder for you. And look at these shell spikes, just basically warding off the damage. I was in a bad spot right there. If I didn't have shell spikes, they all would have just shot and shot and shot me, especially Jingwei. But because of that, she's wary. She doesn't want to use it. I have my ult as well, and this is it. Look at this. I'm just forcing Aphrodite. I force her ultimate, because otherwise she's going to go deeper and deeper and deeper. Let me go deep. I'm just kidding. She's going to go deeper and deeper and deeper. It was Aphrodite, guys. I had to do it. I'm sorry. She's going to just really be under that tower in a really bad spot. There's a great root. Catches her mid-mobility. And so that will go on cooldown, it looks like. But she still gets out because Bacchus' pressure with the stun potential is strong. And so that is it. 4 times it will knock up. It does 110 damage per hit for your last 3 hits on the same target. But for the first target, for the first time you hit, it will do 220 plus 40% of your magical power. So a decent first hit, and especially if you're able to hit 5 members of the enemy team, you'll do a lot of damage to all 5. You know, you can basically get over 1,000 damage on a team with this ult if you do it in the right spot. And then you will also, you know, if you continue to hit somebody, be able to pressure them out with another, you know, 400 or so, 300 to 400 damage extra, which is definitely a lot, and very strong. I'm looking for the blink here as I've upgraded blink. I think blink is very valuable for him. I like the upgraded blink as well. This seems like a potential good spot, but I'm just waiting for the right moment. Activating my 2, I like to do that sometimes in basically anticipation of my blink, so that if I blink and suddenly I'm vulnerable, I activate my 2 so that they will, you know, kind of not want to attack me at that time. But I also think I may have just been doing it. I don't know if that's the best way to do it, to be honest. I found that activating my 2 in later games, just when I get into trouble, is okay, because it's up for the longest amount of duration. Look at this. Look at this. Look at that. Forcing ults again and again. You take one wrong step against Kuzenbo, and you are under the tower. You are getting wrecked. And your ult beads, everything's being forced here. That is the entire you know, purpose of Kuzenbo. If you take one misstep, he's gonna punish you. So we know what the ultimate, we know what all the abilities do. It's important to talk about the build right here, and important to also just, I think, mention what his role is as a guardian and what I've discovered. So here's the build that I'm running. You see, I like Swiftwing. I like starting off with Boot, Swiftwing, and basically maybe even a Chalice of Mana or nothing, and then going into Pin Boots, I think cooldown boots could be okay. I like the pin. I like the extra damage. Nene Kappa hits a little early, a little bit harder to deal with for hunters and people like that who basic attacks kind of are hinged towards being late game powerful and not early game. So if you really get that Kuzenbo pressure, you notice my Kappa was kind of hitting for 4 or 3 times later, earlier on in this match, and now it's only hitting for maybe once or twice after it pops up. So that's something interesting. I like to level that up first, then go to my 3. And with the items, I like to build kind of early pins. So Voidstone, the Boots Voidstone is pretty good for me. I've enjoyed that. I've had success. I've felt like I've been effective in damage. And look at that. We actually end up hitting Jing Wei. So we get damage onto her. The Aphrodite doesn't take much damage, though. And here's the ultimate. I'm hitting a lot. I hit all 5 members here for the 220. Throw my Nene Kappa. It actually bounces off and aggresses on the Aphrodite, which is good. That's 2 ticks of 31. She's forced to use her 2 for defense instead of offensively. And there the beads are forced as well. Everything's forced. Everything has been forced. That's the ultimate. That's the beads. There's nowhere else for her to go, and that is the kill. Kuzenbo has definitely strong potential in forcing that. And when you build then Warlock Sash, which I've been doing, it gives you health, it gives you more magical pressure. Ethereal Staff is something that I like. It's more health, it's more magical pressure. And Winged Blade, it gives you more movement speed. I think movement speed is important because positioning on this guy is important. That's kind of why I like Swift Wing, at least to start as well. I just love getting out to the fights early, but I love being able to position early on in these fights and take the right approach. Again, I think that Kuzenbo is different than a lot of Guardians. One of the ways is the way you build him. You can't just build, one damage item on him and be a beast, right? In Amir late game, I mean, if you just look at what Amir brings to the table, his Frost Breath deals 210 damage, plus 50% of your magical power, right? And it stuns, okay? His Glacial Strike, 370 damage, plus 70% of his magical power, okay? Kuzenbo's not even on that, not even close to that level. He's trying to look at that level from so far down that he's just wondering, it's looking like a hazy screen. It's looking like 440p, when Amir's at 1080p, 60 frames. Amir's at 4K, let's just put it that way. So the damage is not really comparable, and so you could build less on Amir and do more. With Kuzenbo, you have to build a little more, and so I found this route to be giving you, the last 3 items give you a lot of health. A Voidstone starts off with some early protection now, and then I go into Rada Tahuti in this game because I feel like my damage, my presence with the Kappa, with my ult, is valuable. And I really think that part of Kuzenbo's thing is his sustain and his living in fights comes from being able to shell spike and have people not shoot you for that period of time to give you the room to escape. CC really hurts this guy because if you can outlast his shell spikes, he's pretty vulnerable, especially with this build. But this allows me to damage the backlines. This allows me to have pressure with my Kappa. This allows me, for my Sumo Slam and my ultimate, to hit hard and really make an impact. And most of the time when people are getting knocked up and dealt with your ultimate, or they're using relics defensively or anything like that, they're not really attacking you. It's kind of a bad ult if basically they're just free firing on you. If you're hitting all 4 people or all 5 people, you're knocking them up, so they're not really attacking you, so your defenses aren't really that valuable there. And so that is, for me, where I look at getting the extra health instead of the protections with these items, and getting the extra magical power on top of that, and the movement speed has been valuable for me in my early stages of Kuzenbo. Now, I will say that these are my early stages. I'm going to keep playing this guy. I'm going to keep working. I'm going to go in the lab with this guy again in different modes and see what really works and what feels good. This is what I found to really be the most successful after pretty much all the things that I've tried. And I've replicated this in several other games and been successful with it. So I have a feeling that if you go this path, you will have some success as well if you have a similar playstyle. See that damage right there? It's so powerful onto Jing Wei, and the CC right there is so powerful as well that really won the fight. The CC is inherent. The physical pressure, the physical protections. Look at this damage on the Aphrodite, just forcing all of these cooldowns, forcing the beats, forcing the ult. 499 damage on the Kappa, and it's already hitting him, and that's the kill. That's the game. 9-0-11. Kuzenbo action here on RAYNz Gaming. My goal with this episode was to enlighten you all into some ways Kuzenbo could be effective. I know a lot of people have said, I don't really see his place. I don't really see how to work him. I'm not really excited about him in general. And I think, for me, these are the gods I get excited about. This ultimate, this last create is hilarious as well. I get excited about these gods because they present a challenge. They present something interesting. They present something to master and to learn and to discover. It's so much more depth, I think, to gods that get introduced this way that aren't inherently strong the way you think of other guardians. And in many ways, I think this adds to the complexity of the ranked and the pro scene, because you have gods that excel in certain areas and are poor in other areas. It creates more interesting counters. It creates more opportunities for teams to bait certain picks in specific lineups and have really amazing standout performances because they outdrafted and they picked a very good Kuzenbo into gods that couldn't really deal with it. And for me, I just appreciate not only that, but the direction of the personality that they took with this god as well. I think that despite people saying he needs more, it's not a guardian enough, he has a great personality. He has a lot of style. He has a lot of joviality, and he feels real. I mean, Kuzenbo really felt like the design team, the art team, everything that went down, the visual effects team, the animation team, the sound effects team, everything went well. Like, Kuzenbo feels real to me. I see him, and he has his personality, he has his voice back. I mean, everything about him, the voice, it's great. And you can see here just the damage numbers, the stat numbers at the very end of the game, just in case those are interested in that. I do want to get your thoughts, though. What are your thoughts on Kuzenbo? Do you like him? Are you interested in this type of gameplay? You want to see another episode with me trying a different style build or trying Kuzenbo again, maybe even more offensive or maybe more defensive? Let me know in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching and for joining Raynstorm by subscribing if you can. Leave a like if you enjoyed it. If you didn't, let me know in the comment section below. And as always, remember to never give up, never stop gaming, and I'll see you all next time.